decisions that you take more than once. And this decision is that of starting your own business. So friends at Franchise India, we work with aspiring entrepreneurs like yourself or aspiring business buyers like yourself in helping them in this most important decision. And Franchise India is Start Your Own Business Specialist. And the session that we are in today is about successfully starting your own business and how to sustain the business. And most importantly, the very first step, how do you select the business and start a franchise? So I'll start with giving a little background about our company, Franchise India. I'd like to also talk about the process and the mindset of business buying and some of the parameters and assessment tools which any business buyer should undertake before investing in any business opportunity. So our platform has been helping aspiring entrepreneurs like you to research various business opportunities, which includes franchise opportunities, dealership, distribution, evaluate from a plethora of opportunities that you see on the platform of Franchise India, including the website of Franchise India, which has nearly 17,000 companies listed on the website. We do about 120 plus exhibitions pan India, which brings in nearly 10 lakh people who have a physical interface with companies, meet them face to face. And we also work with the business buying community to educate them and learn from the industry experts. This is what we have been doing for the last 27 years. And millions of business buyers have trusted the platform of Franchise India to research these opportunities from a unit franchisee to a multi-unit franchisee to an area franchisee and also a master franchisee of international brands. And we had the privilege of working with nearly 10 lakh people in these many years, whom we gave them guided solutions. We combined our industry knowledge, our validated learning, our experience that we have gathered in helping them and hand-holding them through the entire journey of buying a business. So, while franchising creates a lot of intelligence synergies because it brings the combined strength of the company. They bring their own systems, they bring their processes, they bring their learnings, which are passed on to a franchise partner. But equally, the franchisee also who collaborate, and both these stakeholders collaborate with each other to make the business model successful and sustainable. So while franchising cuts across every industry, I sometimes come across a lot of questions as to what industry is great to start, what are the businesses which are doing well. But if I have to talk about franchising at large, it cuts across every single industry. And we have seen successful franchise companies, brands across all segments and sectors, be it food and beverages as an industry, be it retail, which is very, very large, from a footwear brand to an optical brand to a jewelry company to a fashion brand. We have a lot of opportunities in retail, right? So we have opportunities in education, we have opportunities in health, beauty, wellness at large. There are many opportunities in service as a sector. And we have all seen some of the leading companies who are doing very, very well, both, I would say, from the corporate point of view and also from their franchise ecosystem, which they currently run in the country. So it cuts across every industry, but what is important to understand is whether that particular opportunity or brand is right for me or not. And that requires a lot of understanding because all companies are great, but your fitment on specific opportunities would be very different to somebody, somebody else, right? So, and typically it is based on a lot of things, which includes your interest, your experience, the finances which are involved, the time that you have at hand, which you can put in the business, and the risk appetite that you have to manage the challenges of the business. So we take a very quantitative understanding of all these aspects, and based on that, we advise business buyers on the opportunities which are most relevant. Now, when we look at franchising, one question comes to our mind when we think of starting a business, why franchising, right? So when we are looking of starting a business, broadly, there are three ways a business can be started. One, of course, is you can do your own startup. Many people start their own business, their own venture. And we have seen many cases, people start their own ventures. In India, I'll give an example. Out of all the startups, India is a startup capital. Out of all the businesses that start in the country, 25% of these businesses also use franchising to expand their product or services. So that is how, large is this industry. So if you want to start a business, either you do your own startup or you take a business which is already being run by somebody and and that individual or a business owner wants to sell his business to you. So it's resale, right? So they want to exit and you take over that business. And third is franchising. So these are the only three ways one can start a business. And if you look at all the dimensions, franchising comparatively is a safer bet. I would not say it is completely risk-free, but it is a comparatively safer bet, because it comes with a very big safety net of the company, the brand, who puts in their learning, and these learnings are passed on to a partner. So if you look at the industry, this industry is very, very big and a very big impact market. So when I say it's a very big impact market, I'm sure in whatever you are all consuming in your everyday life, this is an example that you can also, an experiment you can do with yourself. Every single thing that you consume, starting from first thing in the morning till the night, be it a product that you consume, be it a service that you consume, you will realize mostly in 95% of the cases, all these services that you're taking is coming from an organized environment. You're ordering food from Zomato or Swiggy, that franchise. You're ordering, your FMCG and your personal care and other products on platforms like Blinkit, they franchise. You go and take services from a gym or a salon, these companies franchise. You stay in the five-star hotels, four-star hotels, these companies, all these hotels franchise. The school that your child is going to is also franchising. The hospitals at large, super specialty hospitals, and also other clinics which specializes in certain diseases. All these companies franchise by nature. So every product service that you consume is coming from a franchise ecosystem. And in system sales, globally, this is a very big market. And India is the second largest market in franchising, America being number one. And globally, this size of the industry is $4.8 trillion, which is obviously larger than the Indian GDP. And India is the second largest market. We are currently at about $180 billion size of franchise industry. And this has grown very rapidly in the last, I would say, 25 odd years. This industry has grown from 25 to 30% every year. And a lot of things which have attributed to the growth of franchising. Today, 25 years back, 1999, when we started Franchise India, there were comparatively lesser number of entrepreneurs who are first-time business buyers. Out of 100 people who are buying businesses, there were only 10 people who came into business with no experience on running a business, and 90% people who were already running some of their family business or some form of distribution or dealership or some form of franchising. But fast forward these 25 years, today the scenario has completely changed. And why? Because one, a consumption story in India is very, very interesting. India has a massive consumption engine. 70% of our India's GDP is driven by domestic consumption, right? If you look at economies like China, their domestic consumption is 53 versus 70% in India. Now, this consumption is also becoming branded. Like I said, what we consume today is coming from a branded environment. Second, even our consumption cycles are changing. Yesterday, I was doing some training with some of our team members who had joined. And I was also surprised, I asked them, how many times in a week that you eat out or you order. Some of them, on an average, most of these people said about 3 to 4 times. And I also had some astonishing number. One of them said, I consume at least 15 times in a week, at least 2 meals per day. Either I I order, or I, go out on the weekends with the family. So if you look at that, consumption cycles are changing, while we are still comparatively low per capita in some of the categories, but overall our consumption cycles are changing. Even for that matter, if you look at paint as an industry, Asian Paints did a survey and they said, India is consuming more paint than they were using maybe 15 years back. So earlier people were, painting their homes once in 7 years. Now people are painting their homes once in 4 years. So which means the consumption has almost doubled. What I was using once in 7 years, I consume the same thing once in 4 years. And that has given to rise of a lot of this, environment which is branded. There's a formalized consumption which is happening. So these are, some of the, I would say, dynamics which have actually changed how franchising is becoming more in demand and becoming larger than what it was, and is increasing. One another interesting thing which I also want to share with you, if you look at India's population, franchising and entrepreneurship go hand in hand. We have in India a very strong entrepreneurial legacy. And, we are a shopkeeper nation. We love doing businesses. And if you look at the demand of these businesses at the bottom of the pyramid, micro businesses are very big in demand. These are businesses which are being run in the neighborhood of India, like the Amul booths, the Mother Dairy booths, the pharmacy shops that you see around. All these businesses are very, very big in demand in the country. And another element, if I have to also highlight, I don't know what cities you come from. I like to also ask you that. But if you look at the opportunity to take up a job and a high paying job, anything which is upwards of 1 lakh, if you want that job to be taken up in a tier 2 or a tier 3 city, you don't get these opportunities which can pay you a very high paying job. But a lot of people, even in the offices that we run, we have offices in 97 cities today in India. But my larger number of people work in cities like Delhi, Bombay, Hyderabad, all the larger capitals and metros. And most of these people also, or our people, the team that works with us, they also come from other cities which are neighboring cities, because they understand the opportunity for them to earn is much better in a city like Delhi and Bombay versus some of the tier 2, 3 cities in these states. But when you look at franchising comes as a very big rescue. Somebody doesn't want to move out. There is no job in these cities which can give you 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakhs maybe. But franchising is a business which can fill that gap. So a lot of people look at franchising and they buy franchising to substitute a job opportunity. So, friends, what I'm going to do now is I'll take you through a small presentation also. It's a very quick presentation, but I'd like to know a little bit more about each of you. And if you can also share with me a background, and this is something which will help me to know where you come from. At Franchise India, we've been working with, entrepreneurs like you for many, many years. All the learning that we have comes from the experience, some great experience, a lot of success stories or failures. Also, we work with a lot of brands in these 27 years. So all the learning that we pass on, or the advice that we pass on is something which comes from the experience and the learning that we have. But equally, this is customized to your profile. It is customized to the city that you are in. It is customized to the interest. It is customized to a lot of other things, right? So even the opportunities which are shared with you might not be same, right? So maybe you have a different investment appetite. You have a different interest. Who's running the business? It is you who's running the business. The family's running the business. If there's a woman entrepreneur running the business, based on that, we kind of, create this portfolio of brands and share it with you. So my request to all of you would be, I'll ask some questions. I'll request if you can, friends, put that in the Q&A box. So the first thing I want to, there are 4 things I like to ask. One is what city you come from. Second, I want to know whether you are already in the business of franchising or running any kind of business. Third, I want to know if you want to take a franchise, what industry or category would interest you. Be as specific. Don't, it may be retail, but you can say, I want to open an optical shop. I want to open a furniture shop. I want to open a jewelry shop. You can be as specific as that. So I'll repeat again. I want to know what city you come from, whether you're in any form of business or any franchisee that you run, or you're a professional, you can put that. What industry are you interested in? I think these are 3 things which I like to know. If you can, guys, put that in the chat, in the Q&A box, it'll be more easy for me if I can read that in the Q&A box. So very good morning to you, Mr. Gaurav Bhati. I think you're the first one to write. So can I request, friends, if you can start writing in the Q&A box. I like to take your names. I like to also take your city name, any specific industry that you have interest in. I'll be happy to know that. I think I've shared our bit of what we do, but more I hear from you, it will help me to understand, and maybe I can talk in context. Wonderful. So welcome, Mr. Sanjay. You are looking for something in the education and food business, and Hyderabad is a city that you are looking for. Wonderful. And we have our office in Hyderabad. In fact, friends, one thing which I also want to say, we have offices, like I said, in 97 cities. So most probably, most of the locations that you're reaching out, 99.9%, I will have my local branch, my local team who can even come and meet with you. You can brainstorm with them the opportunities. Education, food are big interest for us. Even at Franchise India, while we run a lot of businesses and we help companies to expand, we work with entrepreneurs like you and advise them on businesses. We also have a very big investment portfolio. There are about 32 companies that Franchise India has taken itself. I'm the master franchisee of 32 international brands, and a larger part of that portfolio is between education and food. So there are almost about 15 international companies which are overall in the education portfolio, which includes a lot of skill-based businesses, knowledge-based businesses, preschools, coaching businesses like Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy is an icon, right? So even her businesses like that. And in the food business, some of the leading pizza international chains, some of the smoothie brands that we manage. We also launched very recently a brand called Frank's. So, Mr. Sanjay, if you want to also understand on the food businesses, I'll be happy to interact with you. We have a branch head, Ravi, in fact, who can even meet with you. We have recently launched a brand called Frank's. Frank's is a European company. They're based out of Paris in France. And they currently operate their locations outside within Europe. And Franchise India has taken the master rights for India. As I speak to all of you, we launched the brand about a month and a half back in the month of May. In fact, 18th and 19th, we had a large show which we organized in Delhi, and 45,000 investors came to that show. We launched Franks in that event. And as I speak, we have already, awarded the master rights for locations like Hyderabad. We've done it for Bangalore. We have done it for AP Telangana outside Hyderabad. We've done it for Pune. We've done it for Tri-City. So a lot of these locations have gone. And Sanjay ji will be happy to discuss. Depending on your investment, there are many opportunities in the food and the education we can help you with. But just to give you an understanding, education, depending on what category in education you want to take, can range anything from, I would say, 20 odd lakhs. A preschool, obviously, one can get in about 15 to 20 lakhs starting. But largely, if you're looking at something in the education side, so 20 to 45 lakhs is the average investment. And food business, if you're looking at quick service restaurants to brands like, for example, Frank's, which I talked about, Frank's comes at an investment of 20 odd lakhs. But food can be very, very broad. We have QSRs, we have fine dining, we have also kiosk formats and food. So we have also bars that we do. And this investment can range again from, I would say, 17, 18 lakhs. And if we come to the lower pyramid, say maybe a brand in chai, that would be somewhere in the range of, say, 10 odd lakhs. So comfortably anything between 10 lakhs to 1 crore. So the portfolio of brands in F&B, largely you'll find many options. Srinivasan ji, very good morning to you. You're looking for something in knowledge and entertainment, wonderful. And your interest, your city is Chennai. And I'll be happy to discuss with you, Srinivasan ji. And I'll also request, I'll leave my WhatsApp number also. Anybody who wants to text me, I'll be happy to come on one-to-one call along with my regional head so that we can help you with the information that you seek. Entertainment, Srinivasan ji, we have a lot of businesses which include a lot of gaming zones. Franchise India, like I said, we have some investments also. We'll be happy to share some of these brands we have got from Australian market, we've got from UK market, which we can also share with you. In terms of entertainment, typically your investment range goes higher because the area requirement, like for example, for gaming zones is comparatively bigger. So the investment starts, from about 1.5, it can go up to 4 crores. There are also brands from Chennai, which we can help you with. In fact, I was in Chennai last month, and we met, in fact, a company who is looking for expansion. They're currently running some entertainment gaming zones in Tamil Nadu. Very, very successful. They were professionals who got into this business initially part-time, and later on the entire focus came on this business. They left their jobs and they're completely doing this. I'll be happy to discuss these opportunities with you. Arunji, very good afternoon. Sorry, morning to you. Again, are you looking for a business in some part of Tamil Nadu? Wonderful food. I have a lot of businesses from Tamil Nadu in the food segment, which can start as low as, if you're looking for a coffee brand, we have many coffee brands in Tamil Nadu, which can start as low as 5 lakhs. And again, we can go up to about 30 odd lakhs for food for TN market. I'll be happy to discuss again one-to-one with you. I'm looking for a tier 2 city in Jharkhand, interested in apparel or any food chain. Wonderful. So I don't have your name. It comes with the name of Samsung. We're also working with Reliance. Reliance is for the very first time. If you look at Reliance portfolio, retail fashion portfolio is very, very large. They are for the first time, franchising some of their portfolios, which they have an exclusive mandate given to us. And Jharkhand and this location is something which they would be keen. So I don't know what your investment is, but we are working on a format called Fashion World, right? So this is a brand which is a little in terms of value, little lower than trends, and they require almost about 3,000 square feet of space, where the investment is almost about 50 odd lakhs. If you're looking at something lesser than that, we'll be happy to discuss also case to case. Welcome, Mr. Shyam Dattaji. You're looking for, I don't know what you're looking for. Are you looking for something in the steel business in Hyderabad, or you currently in steel business? I don't know. But if you're looking for something in construction, building material, we'll be happy to share certain opportunities with you as well. Okay, then I see Mr. Gaurav Bhati. And Gaurav Bhati ji, very good afternoon. Rajkot, any business related to electronics, especially drone? Wonderful. We recently launched a project, Gaurav ji. This is little higher on the investment. This is a government project on drone. And the company, I can share with you one-to-one post this webinar. And so the company would own, it's a COFO model, company owned, franchise operated. So they already have operations and they need a franchise owner to operate this. And because you mentioned drone, this was about 15 days back, we launched this project. I'll be happy to discuss with you one-to-one. I have teams in Ahmedabad who can also perhaps meet with you. So great, friends. I think I'm reading a lot of information. It also enlightens me. I think, it makes me more comfortable now talking to everyone because I know where everybody is coming from. I'll also request others to please share their view, their understanding. So, going back to what we and what our advice would be. So at Franchise India, we work with thousands of companies. 17,000 companies are listed on the website of Franchise India. There are about 1,000 companies where Franchise India also has an exclusive mandate to represent them to business owners or entrepreneurs like yourself, where we work with you through the entire journey of buying a business, from evaluation stage to researching the opportunities, to getting your meetings done with these brands, to helping you sign the letter of intent, to the agreement. All that is where our teams would work with you very, very closely. We as a consultant carry very huge responsibility in helping you to make that right decision and informed decision. And it may sometimes look very difficult. How do I bring in absolute accuracy? Because a lot of businesses, so what we do is we follow a very tried and tested methodology, which includes a very holistic approach that we take, which includes our approach on return on the investment, the industry growth, performance of the brand in the past few years, what are the predictability in terms of cash flows, the margins being provided by the company. And above all, the biggest emphasis that we put is how do we help you to reduce the risk on the investment, which comes with a lot of planning of capex planning, operational expense forecast, competition analysis, support that you get from the company, go to market. And this is a very non-biased approach that we take, and never ever base our recommendation on any personal preference or experience I have with the brand. But yes, I'll be very candid. A lot of times I have met a lot of investors who come with a very specific brand in mind. And if I don't have a great experience, which I get sometimes a feedback from some of the franchisees who have taken, I don't recommend that brand to anyone. Even if we are these companies are using us on any marketing platform, but this advice is obviously very, very sincere that we give to anybody. So what we advise is anybody who's looking to start a business, there are 5 assessment tools that you should go through, and these assessment tools include your own self-assessment. Second is the industry that you want to get in. Third is the market assessment. Fourth is the competition assessment, and fifth is the brand assessment that you want to take. So these are 5 assessment tools that we recommend everyone to take. Now, I'll give you a little explanation on that, and then maybe I can put on the screen, which you can take a screenshot also. So I'll start with self-assessment, which to me is the most important, valuable tool for any business buyer. You need to evaluate your own personal interpersonal skills, your business skills, your experience. Experience can be your education, your professional experience, business experience, the knowledge that you have, and how best you can put that knowledge in form of businesses. So one of our friends said they're looking for something on the knowledge business side. I want to give you examples, sir. And especially in Hyderabad, we get a lot of entrepreneurs like that. We have a brand action coach. Recently, we launched Brian Tracy, and some of the most senior senior management who've retired from companies like even Bose, they have come forward to take these businesses, right? So they become coaches, they take the complete understanding on these businesses, because They don't want to take anything, which does not match their knowledge level, does not match their wisdom and experience they've gathered over the years. So definitely these businesses based on your profiling is something which is extremely critical for us to understand before we come forward to suggest. So knowledge being one, what investment we are looking at, ability to meet the challenges, like I said. And two important things which I want to talk about is your own mindset as an entrepreneur, self-discovery, align life goals and business goals, what you want to do in life, and the business that you are looking for, is that aligning overall on the life goals. The second area is your financial goal. Now, these financial goal can be short term, long term, mid term. So what we do is here we follow three dimensions, or which are very important, and I call that TRR, right? So the first T stands for timeline to achieve that financial goal. In what timeline you want to achieve the financial goal? The second R stands for return that you expect on the investment that you make. And the third R stands for the risk that you're willing to take for the investment you want to do. Now, all these three things are proportionate to each other. I can't go and say, I want something in the shortest time span. I don't want to take the zero risk and I want the highest return. So let me, exemplify that for you. If you're looking at making an investment in your life, any asset class, only three fundamental goals of any investment, whether that's a defensive class investment. So safety is one fundamental goal, income is another fundamental goal, and growth is another fundamental goal. Right. So if you're looking at safety as your goal, businesses would come with low risk, but also low return. Income centric mind would mean that I'm looking at medium risk, medium return. Anything where you're looking at a high return would also mean that there is a risk involved. So your risk and reward is proportionate to each other. There's never ever a business where I say that there is no risk, but your gains are very high. I've rarely come across anything like that ever, but a lot of companies claim that. I've also seen companies advertising in some of the most trusted platforms like Economic Times. I think sometime back, I saw a full page ad, a jacket which was done by a company. I've never seen that ad again, but one day there was a full page ad in Economic Times. There was some Ponzi company. They put a full page ad and say, just invest 50,000 and earn 1 lakh every month. Right. And they put I'm sure a lot of people would have fallen prey to that and would have given some kind of money to these companies. So a lot of companies come with these Ponzi schemes. A lot of vulnerable investors become prey and get invested. I myself have spoken to many investors who sometimes take a wrong decision, reach out to a company, pay the money, and they come to us. So the platform that we have is rather important because for you, because we educate you and also kind of warn you not to take any decision in a haste. It is a decision of your lifetime. It's your hard-earned money, and this has to be invested very, very wisely. The second area is your industry assessment. So what you look at is how big is the addressable market? Any industry you want to put your investment in, you first and foremost have to see how big is the opportunity size, right? So is this big enough? Is it overcrowded? Is it commoditized? Can you have an investor have the first mover advantage to put that? I have sold so many franchise opportunities in cities where because these investors or business buyers want to be the first one in their city to do that, they've come forward and taken that opportunity. And obviously, as a first mover advantage, a lot of companies also offer a great go-to-market support to these companies. So look at the opportunity, how big is the market that needs to be addressed. Second, we need to also see how this is future fit, right? We're not making an investment for a day. We're making this investment for our future. So any opportunity that you're investing in, please ensure that it needs to have a minimum horizon of 5 to 10 years minimum, right? So if this business is going to sustain for the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, go for it. In COVID, a lot of companies stopped expanding, but all the wise companies, like a lot of K-12 schools, including GT Goenka, Eurokids, they were making these investments. They were locking the properties at a low rate. A lot of retail companies were locking these properties at a low rate. And when the lockdown was over, all these properties, they gave to their franchisees, at obviously a very negotiated rate. So look at an opportunity which has a growth prospect, and also look at other aspect, which is how big the demand is of that industry in your market, and the supply, who are the suppliers, right? And understand what is the gap between the two. Now, the gap can be the service, the gap can also be a solution, the gap can also be a product which is being serviced, and I have a better product which services a gap. And that's where a lot of value addition happens. Right? And third is your market assessment, the market you want to open. Again, there are two things which I would focus here. One is the regulations in your state, right? So in your market, what the regulations talk about liquor license, like Hyderabad, liquor license, very difficult, right? So in fact, we were working on a bar for Hyderabad. And some of the inquiries for that particular bar based out of Bombay came from some of the bar owners themselves who were running their bar, say, I want to convert that into a branded name. So what are the state guidelines on the liquor policy? What are the guidelines of drug license? What are the food guidelines, the EV guidelines? So every state have their own guidelines on the industry. Understand what these regulations have to talk, and accordingly, consult your brand and how that would make, sense. And then is your real estate selection, which is again very important. The rule that we follow in real estate is follow the leader, right? So I say follow the leader. If you want to open maybe a food brand, a cloud kitchen, or a retail brand, or a fashion brand, whatever that opportunity is, go to maybe let me again come back to Hyderabad as a market. So understand which are the top locations in Hyderabad, whether they are there in Banjara Hills, are they there in Jubilee Hills? So what are the top locations in Hyderabad where that brand is running? So you can pick maybe two leading brands in that category. Earmark what all spots in the city they are operating. Maybe they have outlets in Kachibowli, they have outlets maybe in other side of the city, and all these 10 spots which are being operated by these two or three players in the city. And out of these 10 locations, maybe there would be two or three locations where their revenue is highest. Go and open next to them, right? So this is a thumb rule that we follow. Your probability of taking the right location and doing successful business is comparatively higher. Fourth is competition. So when you look at an opportunity, also look at which are the other peers, right, in that industry, and look at what is the advantage you have over them, what is the support given by the company, the performance of the brand, how the brand is penetrated in the market. Is there a barrier entry, right? So barrier to entry would mean that are there any technology barriers? Are there any government regulation barriers? Are there any licensing barriers? So all this is something that you need to understand when you do competition analysis. And finally comes the brand assessment, right? The brand that you want to take, you need to understand the people who are behind the brand, the credibility, the legacy of the company, how committed they are to their franchisees, how standardized are their systems and processes, because any company is looking to scale, they have to become process oriented. If they don't have processes defined, they cannot scale. You need to understand the operating cost, any kind of reinvestment which is required. Most importantly, a lot of investors, when they look at a business, they only negotiate on aspects like a margin or royalty or a franchise fee. They don't even calculate sometimes the working capital which is required, which is very, very important. And every business would need a different working capital requirement. Some businesses which are only product centric, you need to have enough volume, right? So if, because your product business is stock to throughput. So whatever stock that you put in the outlet, that is what is going to rotate over a period of time. If you don't have enough money to put in the stock, there'll be no sales. So understand what working capital is required. It is typically the stock, if you're a inventory based company, the rental which is needed, the salary which is needed, your overall marketing investment that you do. So all that becomes part of your working capital. And so these become your highlights. So quickly what I will do is I'll share my screen, and if you want to take a screenshot, you can do that. So these are 5 assessment tools, which is self-assessment, industry, market, competition, and your brand assessment. And these are 25 points that we advise every business buyer to follow. Even if you're doing at your end, this is how our teams at Franchise India work. We have a team across India. If you are using the advice of our team, this is how our assessment of brands come to you. I don't come back and say, oh, you want to invest say 15 lakhs. These are 12 companies with an investment of 15 lakhs, and go ahead and speak to them. I would do my assessment around all these 25 points. And if your score is 20 and plus, excellent. If the score is 15 to 20, good. But if your overall score on these, 25 points is about 15 or less, then we don't advise you to take that opportunity. So this is the process that we follow, and we also advise our friends to follow that. And now this is a business buying process, which starts from the information stage. I do the evaluation. Information stage would mean that I need to know what you need as a business buyer, what your priorities are, what your interests are. So I do my filtration of opportunities which I represent to you based on 4 fitments. So one is strategic fit, which is your experience, the property perhaps that you in, what businesses can be done on that property. Second is your operational fitment, which means the number of hours you have availability to put in the business, which is very important in certain type of businesses. Third is your marketing fit, which means the opportunities that are relevant in the market. And then comes the financial fitment, which means the opportunities within the investment bracket. So based on these 4 fitments, our teams would evaluate these opportunities, share with you, and we get these meetings done face to face with the companies. And we also assist in the entire process of structuring that deal, which is a biggest value addition. This information you can find on the website. You can come on the platform of YouTube Franchise India platform. Every day, one new brand is launched on the platform. A lot of people I meet, they say we have so much of options that we see, but we get overwhelmed with so much of information. Sometimes people have even come that I like certain brands. Can you help me to structure what deal should I do? So we also work there. And finally, we work in signing of the letter intent and agreement. So this is how the entire process unfolds. Now, as a prospective business buyer or a subscriber to Franchise India, what you actually get is 1 hour of self-evaluation meeting with our advisors. Industry selection is something that we advise you on. We work with you to get at least 10 to 15 discovery days with the companies based on the SOMF fit, which I talked about. You also get a complimentary invitation to the monthly shows that we do, including the largest show which happens in Delhi. There's another show that we recently concluded in Chennai. We had about 6,000 people from Tamil Nadu and southern region who came to the show. About 6,000 investors walked in. So these are all paid events even for the investors, but all our registered investors get that complimentary. We also work with you in terms of advising you on the agreement that you sign with the brand. So these are largely the advantages, for anybody who wants to seek the services. For everybody else who just wants to have the options, you can go on the website of Franchise India. You can buy the magazine of Franchise India. You can also watch all the webinars. So we have a big library of company webinars we have done where company representatives, leadership, management has come and shared their business model, which anybody can go on the YouTube page of Franchise India, the Facebook page of Franchise India, and can go through. So what it takes, friends, it's obviously there's and this is what our starting is. If you are looking at these services, you want the entire hand holding, there's a fee that is given for a period of 6 months to 1 year, depending on what your investment is. And there's a brokerage that comes to us only once the sign up has been done. But having said that, I will also request anybody who's just exploring, you want to brainstorm, you have not yet decided you want to buy a business, you just want to gain some information. I'll request you please book maybe a 30 minutes brainstorming session with our teams who are located in all the cities that you're based out of. I will also put my WhatsApp number and you can reach out, and also our email ID. So Pradeep ji, very good morning to you. Wonderful. You say you're interested in electric vehicle and solar businesses. We'll be happy to speak with you on both these businesses. And we're also working with some of the companies in this space, some of the top companies like even Vari. So if you need more information, I'll be happy to even discuss with you one-to-one. Our office is there in Kharadi. We're there in World Trade Center. And one of our team members can also perhaps, meet with you. And this is a number, friends, 8800493185. You can WhatsApp on this number. And our email ID is feedback@franchiseindia.in. And today we also have a webinar that we are doing. It is a company from Chennai, which is Sportstar. They are a teacher training program. It's a low investment business opportunity. If anybody from Chennai, Tamil Nadu or Southern, their rollout is south of India. If you're keen to explore, you can also join our webinar, which is starting in the next 20 minutes. If you just allow me maybe 1 more minute, I'll share with you a link of this webinar. And it will just take you about 20 seconds to fill in the information and get yourself registered. And in case you're looking for coming on these webinars regularly, because these webinars are happening every day, new opportunity is launched every day through our webinars. You can attend these webinars. And okay, give me a moment. Let me put the link. So So guys, this is the link. I'll request if you can copy this and you can register yourself for this webinar. And in case you want to have regular updates on the opportunities that we launch, you can reach on the hotline number of Franchise India or the WhatsApp number that I've put on the screen. Thank you so much for being with us today. Have a great day ahead.